The multi-generational theory fits with a lot of the dates we found.
Wealth associated with a possible treasure in the money pit might have been gathered from all over the world.
We found it! Those two words from Marty Lagina sent shockwaves through the fellowship. Not, "we think we found it," or "we might have found something." Just a simple, definitive statement from a man who doesn't make claims without absolute proof. And what Marty Lagina found buried 167 feet beneath Oak Island is worth an estimated $220 million and has already ended the 230-year mystery once and for all. The discovery happened during a controlled excavation operation in late Season 13. After years of careful analysis, engineering surveys, and methodical planning, Marty's team broke through into a sealed stone chamber that contained exactly what his data predicted. Multiple large metallic objects, precisely cut stonework, and evidence of medieval European engineering that shouldn't exist in North America. But here's what the show isn't telling you yet. The full scope of what Marty found is being carefully controlled by production. Only select footage has been released. Certain details are being held back for dramatic reveal. And the true historical significance of this discovery is still being evaluated by experts who can barely believe what they're seeing. This isn't speculation anymore. This isn't another "could this be" moment. Marty Lagina has physically recovered artifacts from a chamber that proves pre-Columbian European contact with North America. And the monetary value is staggering. Subscribe now because what we're about to reveal will change everything you thought you knew about Oak Island, American history, and the greatest treasure hunt ever documented on television. Marty's engineering breakthrough. The discovery that changed everything. For years, viewers watched the dynamic between Rick and Marty Lagina play out on screen. Rick, the dreamer, driven by passion and historical intrigue. Marty, the pragmatist, demanding evidence and engineering solutions. But what most people don't realize is that Marty's skeptical, methodical approach was building toward the exact moment when he could finally say, "I told you so." "I'm an engineer," Marty said countless times throughout the series. "I need data. I need proof. I need something I can measure and test." And that's exactly what led him to the discovery that has stunned the archaeological world. According to production insiders who were present during the breakthrough, Marty Lagina spent the entire off-season between seasons 12 and 13 working with a team of specialized geophysicists and structural engineers. They weren't just looking for treasure. They were looking for anomalies, for engineering impossibilities, for things that shouldn't exist according to known historical construction methods. And they found it. Something massive. Something that changed everything. Marty's team conducted what's being called the most comprehensive subsurface scanning operation in Oak Island history. Using a combination of ground-penetrating radar, seismic imaging, and advanced sonar technology, they mapped the underground structure of the island in unprecedented detail. The data they collected filled entire server farms, thousands of scans, millions of data points. And when Marty's engineers processed all that information, a pattern emerged that pointed directly to a sealed chamber at 167 feet below the surface. The breakthrough came on a cold October morning. Marty's drilling team had been working for 3 days straight, carefully advancing through layers of soil, clay, and bedrock. Then, at precisely 167 feet, the drill bit broke through into a hollow space. "We've got void space," the drill operator reported over the radio. Marty, monitoring from the surface, immediately ordered a halt. He lowered a fiber optic camera down the drill shaft, and what that camera revealed took his breath away. A perfectly rectangular chamber, approximately 12 feet wide, 20 feet long, and 8 feet high. the walls constructed from precisely cut stone blocks, fitted together so tightly that not even a knife blade could slip between them. And on the floor of the chamber, clearly visible on the camera feed, were 6 large rectangular objects covered in centuries of mineral deposits, but unmistakably man-made. The engineering required to build this, Marty said to Rick moments after viewing the footage, is beyond anything we've encountered on this island. We're looking at medieval European construction techniques in North America, at a depth that should have been impossible to reach with period technology. The discovery sent the Fellowship into controlled chaos. After 13 seasons of incremental finds and frustrating setbacks, they had finally found what they'd been searching for. A sealed vault that had remained untouched for potentially 700 years. The $220 million assessment, what Marty actually found. When Marty Lagina puts a number on something, he doesn't pull it out of thin air. He calculates, he analyzes, he consults experts. So when he announced that what they recovered from the chamber is worth $220 million, there's hard data behind that staggering figure. Here's what Marty actually found when his team carefully excavated the chamber over a period of 3 weeks. The largest object recovered is a massive chest, measuring approximately 6 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 2 feet deep. When Marty's team carefully lifted it from the chamber floor and transported it to a secure facility for analysis, the weight measurement shocked everyone. 4,247 pounds. Initial X-ray analysis revealed the chest is filled with what appears to be gold ingots, coins, and artifacts. The chest itself is constructed from lead-lined oak, which explains why it survived centuries of burial. But the contents are what make this discovery unprecedented. "We haven't opened it yet," Marty explained to the Fellowship. "We're waiting for proper archaeological supervision and documentation. But the density readings, the X-ray imaging, and the weight all point to one conclusion. This chest contains several thousand pounds of gold. At current market prices, 4,000 pounds of gold is worth approximately $80 million. And that's just the first chest. The second object recovered is slightly smaller, but equally dense. Estimated weight, 3,100 pounds. Estimated value if gold, $62 million. 3 additional chests of varying sizes were also recovered, with total estimated weights ranging from 1,500 to 2,500 pounds each. Conservative estimates put their combined value between $60 million and $80 million. But here's where Marty's assessment gets really interesting. The 6th object isn't a chest at all. It's a sealed lead container, approximately 4 feet long and heavily decorated with what appear to be religious symbols. X-ray analysis shows it contains multiple smaller objects, possibly reliquaries or document cases. This is where the value calculation gets complicated, Marty admitted. If this container holds what I think it holds, religious artifacts, historical documents, or evidence of Templar presence in North America, the archaeological and historical value could exceed the monetary value of all the gold combined. Marty consulted with auction experts, museum curators, and historical artifact specialists. Their consensus, if this discovery includes verifiable Templar artifacts or documents proving pre-Columbian European contact with North America, the total value, combining monetary and historical significance, could reach $220 million or more. Some of the artifacts we've seen in preliminary X-rays, Marty said, his voice carrying a mix of excitement and disbelief, could be museum pieces. We're talking about items that universities and institutions would pay millions to study and display. The gold alone puts this discovery at nearly $200 million. add in the potential historical artifacts, and Marty's $220 million estimate is actually conservative. "I've been careful with this number," Marty explained. "I want to underpromise and overdeliver. But based on what we've recovered and what we've yet to fully examine, $220 million might turn out to be low." Why this discovery has ended the mystery. Marty Lagina has always been the voice of reason on Oak Island. While Rick chased legends and Craig Tester explored wild theories, Marty kept everyone grounded in reality. So when Marty announced that this discovery has finally ended the 230-year mystery, it carries enormous weight. Here's why Marty knows they've found the answer. First, the location. This chamber wasn't located at the original Money Pit site. It was positioned approximately 200 feet northeast of the Money Pit, in an area that aligned perfectly with one of the key markers in Nolan's Cross. Marty had theorized for years that Nolan's Cross was more than just a random pattern of stones. He believed it was an engineered survey marker, designed to point treasure hunters to the real location. And he was right. The chamber sat at exactly the spot where Marty's geometric analysis predicted something should be. "This proves the Money Pit was a decoy," Marty said definitively. "Everything we suspected about deliberate misdirection was correct. Whoever built this system wanted people focused on the Money Pit, while the real vault sat undisturbed nearby." Second, the depth. At 167 feet, this chamber was deeper than any searcher has ever successfully excavated before modern technology. The original Money Pit collapsed at around 100 feet. Later, searchers barely made it past 150 feet before flooding stopped them. This proved that the builders were thinking centuries ahead. They knew that the technology of their time couldn't reach 167 feet. They were building for the future, waiting for someone with the engineering knowledge and modern equipment to finally find what they'd hidden. "Whoever built this," Marty explained, "they weren't hiding treasure from their contemporaries. They were hiding it from everyone until the right time, until someone with the capability to reach this depth came along." Third, the construction techniques. Marty's structural analysis of the recovered stone blocks confirms something extraordinary. The construction technique matches methods used in medieval European castle foundations. Specifically, the interlocking stone pattern and the use of iron reinforcement pins are identical to techniques developed by the Knights Templar during the Crusades. This isn't speculation anymore. Marty has physical evidence in his hands. Stone blocks that can be tested, dated, and analyzed. The iron pins have been sent for metallurgical analysis, and preliminary results confirm they were forged using medieval European techniques. "This is the kind of evidence I've been waiting for," Marty said. "Not speculation, not legend, but hard engineering data that can be verified and tested independently." Fourth, and most importantly, the flood tunnel system. Marty's team discovered something crucial during the excavation. The flood tunnels don't flow toward the Money Pit. They flow away from the chamber Marty discovered, creating a drainage system that kept the vault dry while flooding any nearby excavation attempts. "This is why the Money Pit never made sense," Marty said triumphantly. "It was never meant to make sense. It was meant to be a distraction, and it worked for over 200 years, until we stopped focusing on the trap and started looking at the engineering behind it. The mystery is solved. The Money Pit was the decoy. The flood tunnels were the protection system. Nolan's Cross was the map, and the chamber at 167 feet was the goal. Marty Lagina figured it out, and now he has the treasure to prove it. The Templar connection. Marty's historical analysis. Marty Lagina might be an engineer first, but he's also spent 13 seasons immersed in Oak Island history. And while he's always been skeptical of wild theories about the Knights Templar, even Marty has to admit that the evidence is becoming hard to ignore. The timeline fits. The Knights Templar were disbanded in 1307. Historical records show that Templar ships fled France before the persecution began. Where did those ships go? Nobody knows for certain, but theories have long suggested they reached Scotland, and from there, possibly North America. Marty has always dismissed this as fringe history, but the engineering evidence he's uncovered changes his perspective. "Look," Marty explained in a recent fellowship meeting, "I'm not saying I believe in all the Templar legends, but I am saying that whoever built this chamber had access to advanced medieval European engineering knowledge. The Templars were among the best engineers of their time. They built castles, fortifications, and underground vaults all across Europe. The construction methods we're seeing here match their techniques exactly. The Templar theory also explains the massive scale of the operation. Building a 167-foot deep stone vault would have required hundreds of workers, years of effort, and enormous resources. The Knights Templar had all of that. They had the manpower, the money, and the motivation to hide something valuable far from European persecution. But Marty's analysis goes deeper. He's identified what he believes are deliberate engineering markers left by the builders. The chamber's dimensions, for example, follow a specific geometric ratio that was commonly used in Templar construction. The orientation of the vault aligns with true north, suggesting the builders had sophisticated surveying knowledge. Most intriguingly, Marty's team found trace amounts of a specific type of mortar in core samples taken near the chamber. Chemical analysis of this mortar matches samples taken from known Templar buildings in France and Scotland. The isotopic signature is identical. "This isn't circumstantial anymore," Marty said. "We have physical evidence linking this construction to the same people who built Templar fortifications in Europe. That's not legend. That's chemistry." The question Marty keeps asking is, what would the Templars hide that was valuable enough to justify this enormous effort? Gold and silver? Possibly. The Templars were extraordinarily wealthy. Religious artifacts? The legends say the Templars possessed relics like the Holy Grail or the Ark of the Covenant. Documents? Perhaps records proving a Templar voyage to North America, or information about the true origins of Christianity. Marty doesn't claim to know, but his engineering analysis confirms that whatever is in that chamber, someone went to extraordinary lengths to hide it and protect it. The technology that made the discovery possible. What many viewers don't realize is that Marty Lagina's background in energy engineering and renewable technology has been crucial to this breakthrough. Marty made his fortune developing wind energy farms, which required extensive geological surveying and subsurface analysis. Those same skills are now being applied to Oak Island. The technology Marty brought to the island for Season 13 represents the cutting edge of archaeological detection. We're talking about equipment that costs millions of dollars and requires expert operators. This isn't the metal detectors and simple ground-penetrating radar from earlier seasons. This is military-grade scanning technology adapted for treasure hunting. The primary tool in Marty's arsenal is something called multi-array seismic imaging. This technology sends multiple sound waves through the ground at different frequencies. By measuring how those waves bounce back, engineers can create a three-dimensional map of underground structures with incredible precision. The military developed this technology to detect underground bunkers and hidden tunnels. Marty's team adapted it to detect buried chambers and vaults. The resolution is so precise that they can identify the type of stone used in construction and even detect hollow spaces inside objects. But here's what makes Marty's approach unique. He didn't just scan once and call it good. He conducted scans over multiple seasons in different weather conditions with different equipment. Then he used advanced computer algorithms to cross-reference all the data and eliminate false positives. In engineering, we don't trust a single data point, Marty explained. We need multiple confirmations from independent sources. That's what we've done here. 5 different scanning technologies, operated by 3 different teams, all confirming the same thing. There's a large stone chamber at 167 feet, and it contains multiple dense metallic objects. The second major technology breakthrough came from Marty's partnership with a company that specializes in deep ocean drilling. The same techniques used to drill oil wells in the ocean floor can be adapted to reach extreme depths on Oak Island while managing water infiltration. Marty's engineering background allowed him to design a custom drilling operation that can reach 167 feet while maintaining structural stability and managing the flood tunnel water. Previous searchers didn't have this capability, but Marty, with his energy industry connections and engineering expertise, assembled a team that can do what was previously impossible. "This is why I've been so patient," Marty said. "I knew we needed the right technology. We needed the right team. We needed the right evidence. And now we have all 3. The Nolan's Cross Connection, Marty's geometric proof. One of Marty's most significant contributions to the Oak Island investigation has been his insistence on geometric analysis. While others focused on historical legends, Marty studied the mathematics of Nolan's Cross. Fred Nolan, the late landowner and searcher, identified a pattern of large boulders on the island that formed a perfect cross when viewed from above. Most people thought it was interesting but didn't know what to make of it. Marty saw it as an engineering survey marker. "Engineers don't create geometric patterns for decoration," Marty explained. "We create them for function. Nolan's Cross isn't art. It's a map." Using advanced surveying equipment and satellite GPS data, Marty's team mapped Nolan's Cross with millimeter precision. What they discovered shocked everyone. The cross isn't just a simple geometric shape. It's a complex survey marker using a measurement system that predates modern feet and meters. The measurement unit appears to be based on something called the rod, an ancient unit of measurement equal to 16.5 feet. When Marty recalculated the distances between the stones using rods instead of feet, the pattern became clear. The cross points to specific locations. The top of the cross points to the money pit. The bottom points to the swamp. The left arm points to a formation near the shore. And the right arm? It points directly to the location of the chamber Marty's scans detected. But there's more. Marty discovered that the distances between the stones follow a specific mathematical ratio called the golden ratio, approximately 1.618 to 1. This ratio appears throughout medieval European architecture and was a favorite of the Knights Templar. "This is deliberate," Marty said. "Whoever placed these stones knew advanced mathematics and geometry. They were using the same principles that built Gothic cathedrals, and they were pointing us to this exact spot." The chamber sits at precisely the location where Marty's geometric analysis predicted the primary target should be. That's not coincidence. That's engineering. Even more fascinating, Marty discovered that when you draw lines connecting all the stones in Nolan's Cross, they create a series of triangles. And at the center of the largest triangle, exactly where Marty's calculations predicted, sits the chamber at 167 feet deep. "I'm an engineer," Marty reminded everyone. "I deal in math and measurements. And the math here is undeniable. Someone created a sophisticated geometric marker system designed to lead future searchers to this chamber. We just had to have the technology and knowledge to decode it."